Welcome, everyone, to Awesome Truth, a wrestling book club. I'm your host, Steve Semino, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Walter Wank. Hey, Walters.
Hello, Steven. How's it going?
My friend, it is going very well. We are back on Awesome Truth, and we are back to watch-alongs, Walt. We are watching along with a classic match from wrestling history. This is one I really don't remember at all, I will admit. This is one that you pitched as a good idea, a timely one, which we'll get into. Something that I think will resonate with fans who are keeping up with the current product. A match that was recently, I hear, replicated or paid homage to on SummerSlam this year in 2024. Of course, I'm referring to Bret Hart versus The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee at SummerSlam 97.
Yeah, keeping consistent with CM Punk's latest iteration of his career, where let's just spoof and reiterate and duplicate Bret Hart classic matches,
which is very in line with like pop culture in general. Like they just remade the Alien movie. They're just doing all this shit, and CM Punk's just doing that in his wrestling life as well. Yeah,
and so or at least they took elements of it. I mean, I don't know if Seth Rollins as the special guest referee in the Drew McIntyre CM Punk SummerSlam match was dressed exactly like Shawn Michaels, but he was very close, it would seem.
I also don't know if Seth Rollins has the charisma, an ounce of the charisma Shawn Michaels has, but we'll talk about all that while we watch the match. Are you ready, Walt?
Let's do it.
The time code on Peacock against SummerSlam 97 is 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 24 seconds. And we're getting right into the action. We'll talk a little bit about the intros, but let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Wrestling. All right, you should be seeing HBK holding up the belt. He just did a whole referee shtick, right? Well, like he did a bunch of checks on the guys and all that.
Yeah, he checked the boots in case anyone was going to hold.
Which is some great, like, you know, heel-y shit. Like, or not even, I guess he's not even a heel at this point, is he?
So Bret's holding the belt up now, and he's attacking Undertaker. Is that where you're at?
Yes, that's exactly where I'm at.
Okay, great. All right, so we did line this up perfectly.
Yep, we did it. So is Michaels at this point, well, let's remind everyone of where we are. Michaels ringing the bell. So Bret is a heel, Taker is a face, and Michaels is a DX-style face, no, you know, like a shit-eating face.
So contextually, this is after he lost a smile. This is after Austin Bret at WrestleMania. Undertaker beat Sid at WrestleMania that year. And this is now Bret in his, like, the height of his Canada run.
So it's Bret. So in Canada he's a face, and then everyone else is a heel.
Correct.
And this takes place in beautiful, do you know?
East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah, there we go. Sort of near where we live, but not really. You grew up.
I think this is like the first event in New Jersey that they allow, because they stopped going to New Jersey for a long time, and then I think they came back for this one.
It had 20,000 people there, which is wild for 97. So I guess Bret Taker's a big match, but still.
They heated up pretty well around this time.
Yeah, Austin was getting hot, I guess, right? So that's all about to sort of actually kick into high gear.
This is like 20 minutes after Austin breaks his neck, effectively.
Yes, you know, I was going to talk about this card when we get to that far along. It's a weird card, and that's a sad match.
Yeah. Yes, but
so Michaels DX has started at this point?
No, so
DX it's not. Is he doing DX-y shit though?
I mean, him and Austin had a run with the tag belts, and then they fought each other. It was like will they get along, you know, shtick times a million.
Yes.
And then I don't remember why he gets put into this match. Probably should have watched the recap to remind myself.
I mean, but if I have time, I'll look it up on Wikipedia, but probably doesn't matter. Probably because he's Michaels, right?
I think they established that him and Bret are kind of at odds, even though they're both face, or he's a face, sort of. I don't remember.
Michaels literally asked Vince if he could be a part of SummerSlam.
That was it.
So Vince is getting on. This is the beginning of Vince being on TV a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
As Vince, like he's obviously not. He becomes Mr. McMahon in about 2 months, 3 months. But yeah, it's honestly Michaels just wanted to be in the match. So Michaels just came back from losing his smile, and I guess was just like this was the easiest way to insert him in an ongoing thing.
He was wrestling before this though.
Okay, so he's just getting back into the main event picture now after just dicking around for a little while, like you said with the Austin thing. I don't know. This whole era is really weird because this was just the total Vince was in Michaels' pocket, or, just supporting him despite there being a million reasons to fire him. And probably Michaels wanted to get fired at this point, so he could go hang out with Nash and Hall.
Yeah, just end up accidentally creating one of the most popular stables of all time.
And then, of course, Taker is, I think, just being Taker, right?
Yeah,
no news there. He's just looking like normal, 90s Taker.
Yeah,
he's got a little of the darker sort of look. Like he had one of the jackets he was wearing when he came out that like sort of called to the Taker we're about to see a little more, which is even more S&M-y, Ministry of Darkness monster Taker. But
yeah, because he doesn't have like the purple gloves anymore.
Yeah, it's getting a little more just all black, I would say.
But didn't he kind of like he got buried alive in '96, and then he went away for like a month or two, and then he comes back as like this version of Taker, right? Wasn't that what happened?
That sounds right.
To face Mankind, to finally like overcome that big hump.
Yes.
And then he kind of stayed in this style until he became like the Ministry of Darkness.
And I assume he had the belt at this point because there was like, he was not that he wasn't a big star, but there was just nothing else really. Vince, Bret didn't need it at that point. Bret was doing other stuff until he wins it. Spoilers again. It made sense that he just there was the other feuds going on, and it was a reasonable opponent for Sid at Mania and a guy to hold the belt for a little while.
Yeah, and then they really didn't have anyone. Michaels left. Bret hurt himself. He injured his knee in middle of '97.
Yeah.
So he was out for most of the
Obviously,
summer.
Nash and Hall are gone.
Nash and Hall
for
are
a
gone.
while. And then Austin was in the picture at this point, but not, a ton.
Yeah.
Vader had been neutered by Michaels at this point, so Vader was pretty much cooked.
Ahmed was kind of there, but not really heated up enough to take.
Owen's not there yet, never gets there, unfortunately. Bulldog is Bulldog. Yeah, Taker was on Mankind. This card opens with Mankind, Helmsley. And so they're the two guys that are sort of, especially Mankind at this point, are on the periphery of the main event. And has been in main events, obviously, usually with Taker, though.
Or Michaels the
year
Michaels,
before. Sure. If we're talking mind games, which I was at.
That's exactly what I'm talking.
So it's an interesting time. It's right before literally everything happens, which is nice because we can talk about it without talking about everything that happens, which we talked about 5 million times. So
yeah. This is, and also too, I have to note the fact as Bret Hart just goes against, attacks the legs like he does with every big man he's ever faced,
which is just smart, good tactician.
Yeah. I feel like I squint and I can see Diesel.
It does.
Eating the same leg.
It is really. It is probably about the exact same match. Bret could do it and then sleep at this point, I bet.
Yeah. I have to note though that this was the match that even back then when I was fan, I still whoa, maybe it's real. I kind of knew. This is where I've really developed Smarky radar because I'm so if Bret Hart loses this match, you're telling me that this guy can't wrestle again in the U.S.? That was a stipulation.
Yes, we didn't mention that. This is a heavy stipulation card. There's an incredible amount of stipulations on this card.
Yeah, one of which was Brian Pillman wearing a dress if he loses.
One of them is Bulldog has to eat dog food. One of them is Austin has to kiss Owen's ass, which is why Austin had to win that match even after he broke his neck, because he couldn't obviously kiss his ass with a broken neck.
Oh, yeah, or just destroyed his entire character.
Yeah, yes, that's true. But yeah, so the Bret is Bret cannot wrestle in America, but is still somehow employed by World Wrestling Federation.
Right. Yeah, so just Germany and Canada and maybe parts of Mexico.
This would be a great moment if you remember from when Taker was on the All America team at Survivor Series in '93. I want to say, is that right? '93 or '94? But if you remember, do you remember? I'm going to talk about that when Taker opens his jacket up.
Oh, he has the United States.
Yeah, the flag sewn into his jacket. If Taker was defending America at this point, it'd be great if he had that jacket on again and said, it was showing Bret what's for America.
Right, yeah.
But alas.
Yeah, well, I would say he retired all that, but then in WrestleMania that same year, he went with the silver gloves and the OG look.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I remember so many dumb.
Yeah, this
details.
this is the prime. That's why I'm asking you these questions, because like Walt remembers all this shit. So this is all burned in your brain for some reason. Also, the other part of the stipulation you didn't mention is if Michaels is a bad ref, he cannot wrestle in America either.
I did not know that. Wow.
That's what Wikipedia is telling me, at least, which sounds right. Because the question here is, obviously, this is the prototypical, match graphic of the guy doing it's Paul Bear, whoa. Because this is Kane era? Kane's coming?
This is like 2 or 3 months before Kane. Okay.
But they're building towards Kane, too, which is actually good. It shows, like, this is good, WWE, because this is multiple storylines festering at once, you know? Like, that's a thing they used to do sometimes, and they're trying to do again now, and it's good.
Yeah. It's very complicated.
But I was going to say that this is the prototypical match graphic where it's one guy on the left, one guy on the right, special guest referee in the middle, does the look to the left, look to the right, I don't know pose, and then crosses his arms, you know?
Yeah. Some would say this is where it might have been invented.
Yes.
Yeah. If only we probably should have watched that damn recount.
Yes, or at least a GIF of that graphic. Shout out to Kev Ragone, listener, fan of the show. Who knows that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That's also this one for in my head is Kev doing that.
So, and speaking about the SummerSlam match, how close, because I did not admittedly watch that match yet. I watched chunks of SummerSlam, but I did not watch that match. How closely do they hew to try and replicate what we're seeing here? Just in general tone and tenor, or is there actually like chunks taken wholesale?
I believe it's just the end.
Because it is little guy, big guy, so it does make sense in that regard too, you know? And Punk always wants to be Bret. He's not Bret, but part of him does wish he was Bret sometimes.
Well, he did wear Bret Hart inspired gear.
Well, of course he did.
Match.
Obviously, you didn't need to tell me that.
Sure, well, but that's not really a.
But he's just it's all when like they couldn't be more different wrestlers in so many ways, you know.
Yeah,
it's just weird that I'm sure Punk likes Bret, but it's like, dude, you're not Bret. Like,
right.
It's sorry, you cannot in the ring. You cannot hold a candle to Bret.
And also, Drew is so much more versatile as a performer than 1997 Undertaker. I'm sorry.
Sure, they're both. Yeah, I mean, in their own ways, but the dynamic holds up at least, you know. And Seth, of course, would also very much like to be Shawn Michaels, and at least there's a comparison. It's it's A versus C plus to me, but there's room to you see the similarities at least.
Yeah.
Seth would love to be Shawn Michaels.
There is a comparison to be made. I will not be making it though.
I love the figure 4 on the ring post too. That's great.
This is pretty great.
Especially with a big guy too, because you get the whole leg to dangle on.
It doesn't look like it actually hurts though.
No, not particularly, but it's a great visual of just like a thing to do, you know?
Oh my God.
Bret was great too. Like, it's also funny. We probably said this before, but like, Bret is so big compared to guys of today. You know, like he was so small back then, and he's so big compared to so many guys.
Yeah. Hogan didn't want to lose to a small guy. It's like, yeah, well, because you didn't want to lose to Bret Hart. Eventually, you were forced to lose to Kidman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, how'd you like losing to Kidman, but you didn't want to lose to Bret Hart?
Just show Hulk Hogan a picture of Adam Cole and say, look at this guy. This guy's a wrestler. This guy's been a world champion before.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Pillman and Owen. Looking great. I love Pillman and Owen are both so good.
God, where did he get those shirts?
Yeah, they look good. They are pretty great. Yeah.
It's like a Todd McFarlane style, like 90s comic book.
The Pillman look would be a good Halloween costume. If you can get a wig that looked like his hair, like it would be a little esoteric, but people who got it would be very impressed.
A little?
Yeah, well, someone out there would get it, I bet, you know? If you walked around on crutches, maybe, I think there's a world where someone might get it.
I don't know I would want to meet that person who would get that.
Well, you'd be that person too, so that also is the thing.
Yeah. God.
Okay, take Bret working the leg.
Man, they're really milking every little bit here.
Good example. If a special guest referee is sort of an excuse to do a semi-no DQ match too, you know? Yeah. Or a no count out. Like, the rules become lax because obviously Shawn isn't counting to 10 every time you go outside. He's not. Bret hit him with the bell. I mean, obviously that's before the bell, but like he's gonna give you some more leeway, which makes a lot of kayfabe sense too, because he's not trained at this. He doesn't know the rule book inside and out.
Right. Also, he can fight back if he really wants to.
Sure.
So he
absolutely.
can't be intimidated.
Yep. It's a nice little twist. And this is a really good. Like I don't think it all history informs this match and makes it even better. Because of what's to come with Michaels and Bret. Like I don't think obviously no one knew what was going to happen at this point, but now it's just so good that the Survivor Series thing started here in this match.
What you mean, like the Montreal Screwjob?
Yeah. Just like that. This is the precursor to that.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't obviously no one knew that was where it was going to end up exactly, but it's a really good, first chapter to that second chapter.
Yeah, I mean these three really had this like tangled web at this point, which made this match iconic for that. Then also with the ending, whereas, I think they are starting to do that with Seth and CM Punk and
Drew.
Drew, thank you, Drew. And like what I think the biggest thing about this is it launched Shawn as a heel, and then it started like Shawn Taker, this rivalry that we've never seen before because they never wrestled before the next month.
Which is crazy. It's crazy how long it took for them to get to those two in two separate feuds being so many iconic moments,
Right.
Because it just feels so natural, but I guess just timing and circumstances just never really came to be until now.
This starts the Hell in a Cell. The first ever Hell in a Cell. Like, this is where this stems from.
Which is great. And you wouldn't, again, it's all, I'm sure that was on, at least that part of it was probably on their minds, but the fact that the Bret stuff obviously happens in the interim is just, it's such a good... It's a reminder that it doesn't all start with Austin, Like as good as Austin was, and Austin was the best. Taker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Michaels isn't there. What's going on, Shawn? Oh, is he allowed to do this? Michaels has to call it straight.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Nope. 2. Michael's doing a great holding up the 2.
Yeah. Michael's animated.
He's so good at this shit. Like, he's the best at this, That's why, this is what I mean. That when Seth does this stuff, like, it only works when he's a heel, Like, Michaels can do it as a face and it's still funny and silly, And he doesn't look like uncool doing it. Whereas Seth is just the biggest fucking dweeb. And so when he's supposed to be a dweeb and a loser, it's great. And when he's trying to be like cool, you're like, no. Like, you're not cool.
Yeah.
Cancel that.
Like I don't understand what his wardrobe is anymore. Like it's just all over the map.
It's supposed to be over the top. It's supposed to be eclectic, right? That's what we're supposed to take away. This guy's weird. But then we're also supposed to cheer him, I guess.
He's good at wrestling, so we like him.
Yeah, and he's like got a bad theme song and a stupid nickname and like a not very nice wife. Like I don't know what the hook is there exactly. I've never gotten the hook.
Has nice wife. Yes.
I like his wife. I like his wrestling wife, and so I guess by proxy I'd like him a little more because she seems to be able to put up with him. So I will say the Becky book does make you think that Seth is like a good guy backstage. Like, I think Colby seems like a decent dude. I just don't like his character on wrestling shows.
Yeah. It's weird how we're still trying to figure this thing out. It's like...
and he's one of the biggest stars in the company, like, unquestionably at this point. But
like, Roman we were trying to figure out. Then we found something really good, and now...
And we wrote it into such like a logical, a very long point, and then the break, and now it's going really well again. Like, it's all fit into... The puzzles fit into piece perfectly,
If H can really right the ship on Seth Rollins, that'll probably be his greatest feat because I don't know what the hell.
My thought is that I think that they think it's going really well, though. I think everyone likes it, and I think most fans like it too. Like I just don't like it, but I think they might. I think if you ask those Twitch Shreks that we talked about on the Behind the Curtain episode available in our archives, I think all those Twitch Shreks think it's great.
Maybe,
but
man. I'm
glad you joined me on this quest though, because I feel like sometimes I'm beating the drum for no reason. So I'm glad you at least see
Which
where I'm
drum?
coming from.
The Twitch trucks? Or
No, the Twitch trucks are a drum too. The Seth is mediocre drum.
I just think he needs to figure out like what he is.
Yeah, figure out what you do.
He knows what he is.
Yeah,
and the company hasn't figured it out for a long time. Like ever since he's like had J&J Security was the last time he actually had like a pretty defined.
Yeah, that was a million years ago.
You see the
finger?
The finger to Vince?
Yeah. Oh, was it to Vince?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been. I thought Shawn might have been off camera. Interesting. So Bret's really.
Because I think JR goes, oh, that was interesting.
I don't have the captions on. I just realized I'm missing all the hot commentary.
I have the volume on very low, so I can tune it out when I need to. But it's hard to miss it when they say weird stuff.
It is. I will say, in defense of Seth mildly, we are comparing him to maybe the best wrestler of all time and a pretty historic little creative run here by WWE. So like it is as frustrating. He's not terrible. He's just I think there's some people that would like you to think that he is in a tier similar to the three guys we're seeing in the ring right here, I think they'd like you to believe that he is like on the cusp of reaching a tier like this, and I'd be like, I couldn't think of anything I agree with less than that in wrestling.
Yeah.
That he's like an iconic character or figure.
I mean, he's been a big name. Like
yes, he's a steady hand, but there's just in watching this match, it's just like this is something like just I wanted to watch this match because I'm like I want to talk about the backstory surrounding all of these people, all these guys, and everything that's going on with them because I find that fascinating because it's all so good. And
right.
I think that's something the special guys all have is not only do they stand out, but like they're involved in things that stand out and resonate decades later. And if you're not that, you're at another level, a lower level.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think there's a comparison between Seth Rollins and these three guys. I mean, like
no. But like you said, they're clearly he's in the nothing more clear than he's in the Michaels role in at the most recent pay-per-view doing a version of this.
I will say though that in '97, Michaels, after his like boyhood dream run, was a little aimless. So I feel like this match really helped realign him and really define him in better terms with the audience. Like, okay, half the audience kind of hates this like sexy boy gimmick. Like we're not really behind him anymore. He's like start stop. And so then definitively becoming a heel and Taker kind of turning on him does allow him to just like go full on heel, do the DX thing, just really just be the worst version of himself that we all know who he was back then.
And it's very smart on their part, on Vince's part, to put him against Taker for that too, because like there's not many guys that Michaels can turn heel against where people would not cheer him. Even if he was getting tired, like to make him like DX obviously became cool, but he could be a heel when he's gone up against Taker because everybody loves Taker.
Yeah.
So it's a very good way to make sure Michaels is going to get the boos. You're like, we got to make sure he gets the boos, and the best way to do that is to put him against our most beloved, the only like truly beloved guy we really have left.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is and that's a great point. This is a weird period for Michaels too. Like you said, we had to think about what he was doing before this. Like you had to say, he's doing some tag team shit. Like this might be the last time in his career, except for when he was sort of, came back, in the long comeback run and was sort of sometimes would give other guys the rub or just do stuff to do stuff. But this might be the last time when he's just sort of truly farting around with no purpose, and is not a Hall of Fame caliber guy.
Remember, he's supposed to be retired and take her two-finger clothesline.
Yeah. I mean, this is so classic moves, too. Like, Bret does the elbow off the second. Taker does the two-finger clothesline. Like, there's all the figure four on the turnbuckle. Like, these are all the greatest hits.
They also are going at such a glacial pace that I'm used to. This is like this is a 30-minute match that could have been 17.
But I mean, I don't mind it, though, because I like these guys, and they're so good at it. It's slow, but it's not boring, It's
very methodical.
Yeah, but I also there's enough business, especially with Michaels in there. Without Michaels, this would probably not be great. But having that third party in there who's so animated gives it a little extra juice.
Right, and especially because you don't know how it's gonna end. I mean, we know, but
at the moment,
like
you said, even 12-year-old Walt figured out that Bret was gonna probably win. some way, but you didn't know how.
You didn't know how involved Michaels would be with it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you could. I mean,
so do you think in '96? Did you think wrestling was real?
I wanted to believe. I guess I don't know.
Or were you just totally buying in? Because I know when I was younger, I was buying into the storylines. You know, I would at least be like, okay, like I wouldn't see the roadmap in my head. You know, I wouldn't say, okay, well, obviously they're going to do this.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised as opposed to that sort of walking clothesline
with a choke slam from the
choke slam. Sorry, yeah.
Which means you could only do that to like 4 people in the company at the time.
Even doing it to Bret's pretty good. Like Michaels is probably easier to do it to than Bret.
Oh yeah. That was a good. We were talking about before this.
Oh, just the belief, just the period. That age is a good time to like, even if you don't think it's real, you truly, at least you're surprised by what happens sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
You don't spend hours thinking about what might happen.
Right.
You just say, we'll see what happens on, the pay-per-view.
Exactly. I was a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for?
Look at superplex.
It's just kind of impressive to see Taker take this superplex.
Yeah.
Assuming he does eventually.
Good reset though. Glad no one died there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, no one else in the company could have taken that move other than Undertaker at that size.
And Bret has to get him over too, to a certain extent. Like that's hard for both of them. Mostly Taker doing a flip, but still. There's a lot of coordination there, which obviously Taker in this era was pretty good at. He wasn't Drew, but he certainly no one had ever done that at that size before, so.
Right. Man.
It's great. I really love Bret. Just watching Bret wrestle now that I'm soon to be 40, it's just such a joy,
Yeah.
He's so good. Especially heel Bret. Heel Bret is a great character.
Was this one of the last McMahon-led commentaries?
Well, the Survivor Series, is he not leading the commentary then? Is it just JR and Lawler?
I don't think...
Because Vince comes out, right? Isn't that the whole thing? He comes out,
so he's not at commentary, I believe.
So this is probably... I mean, I don't know what the In Your House is after this.
It's...
Yeah, let's see if you know.
Zero.
It is Ground Zero. How do you know that? That's insane.
Bad blood. There's bad blood.
No, that is one night only, my friend.
Oh, but that wasn't in your house.
Well, I'm just telling you, Wikipedia is calling it a pay-per-view event.
The one in Britain.
Yes,
right?
in Birmingham.
Yeah, where Bulldog loses the European title to Shawn.
Obviously. Duh.
And then it's Bad Blood, then it's Survivor Series, and then it's DX.
Wow, so Bret Hart, so the Patriot is next up for Bret after this, huh? Wow.
Which makes sense, right?
Oh, of course it makes sense. That is great. They go to Michaels Taker, like you said, which is great and logical and a very smart idea. And then Bret, who's Bret going to face? Truly, if you look at the card, though, there is no one else he could face.
No. Maybe Ahmed Johnson. I don't know.
Or Shamrock, maybe? But I don't know if Shamrock was even ready at that point.
I mean, define ready. He gets a title shot 3 months after.
If anyone, I don't know why the Patriot would be over him in the rankings, but he just lost the Bulldog on this card too. So that's what I mean by ready is.
Oh well, ring post sharpshooter.
Oh wow,
this is too much.
This is great. This is a hat on a hat.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really bad. He barely is even he's barely touching him.
Oh, they did it for that spot.
Yeah, got it. That makes a little convoluted, but they gave Bret versus the Patriot 19 minutes too.
Well, Bret Hart can wrestle anyone for 20 minutes.
Yeah, even Del Wilkes.
John Pierre Lafitte, he wrestled, I'm sure, for at least
chair.
15.
Oh, damn, he had him. Oh my God, those chair shots back then. Jesus.
Michael should be more savvy. He should be like, I heard that chair shot.
Yeah. Well, he's still a ref. He still gets the ref ailments that come with it. Oh. Well, of course we know. That's not how it ends.
No.
It's a good setup, though.
Crowd's pretty hot for this.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, 20,000 people. It's a big crowd. It's a good idea. Oh, see, there you go. He's being savvy. Look.
Yeah.
That's incredible for a ref. That's, like, what is this foreign object doing here?
Yeah.
Someone brought it here, Bret.
Evidence. Oh, here we go.
Oh, give me a little fuck you. Oh.
Michaels sells that so well.
Yeah. He's like, oh no. I like it because he's like, there's also the idea that he's like, fuck, now I have to fight Undertaker. Like,
yeah.
I also love that he has to count 3, even though he's obligated to count that one,
Yeah.
It's such stupid wrestling logic.
Right.
Well, guess you won. And Bret's not even happy, too. That's great. Because Bret, that fits with Bret's character so well. He's like, look, I don't want to win. Like, I'll cheat, but like, I don't want. I would not mind winning another way, but I guess I'll take it now. And I'm pissed at Michaels for being an asshole.
Wow. Taker sort of no sells a little bit.
Yeah. Well, he's hunting Shawn Michaels now.
He's probably concussed in real life.
Yeah, he got hit with 2 chairs in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
2 stiff ones. Oh, their fans are throwing shit. Wow. This Canada
he's
thing.
a 5-time champion too, which
wow,
I
back
think was
then.
unprecedented.
Yeah. Was Terry not a 5-time champion?
Terry might have been a 5-time as well.
Yeah, but Terry also had like some weird that's like counting when he won, beat Taker again this Tuesday in Texas or whatever.
That counts.
It does count, but I mean, yeah, I guess Bret might have had a week-long run in there somewhere too. So.
Yeah.
God, there's the classic belt.
1, 2.
Are you counting Bret title?
He did have a week-long title
Bret
reign.
did?
Remember, yeah, because he wins Final Four and then loses the Sid in earlier that year.
Okay, well,
that's
there you
how
go.
Sid has the belt.
Wow.
Because Austin screws him. So
there
you're right.
you go. So Bret and Terry are equals.
He did have his Tuesday in Texas reign.
This heel Bret thing is working like gangbusters right here too. The fans are pissed.
Yeah.
And again, so this is red hot off a 20,000 person SummerSlam. Who is he up next against? A guy in a mask who says likes America.
Yeah.
Vince's best idea to follow up.
And so obviously this is the thing that was spoofed during the CM Punk match, which was Seth almost hits Punk with the chair after like a miscommunication and almost hits Drew. And then they don't actually complete it.
But it's the same idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And then something to do with a bracelet.
Look at Bret doing a little dance there. I didn't even notice that. That's great.
Whoa.
He wasn't pissed at. He was enjoying it. He was like, look at me. I got a free win.
Yeah. And sets Michaels and Taker off to fucking kill themselves.
Yep. At ground zero and beyond.
Yes. Specifically at Bad Blood. And then Taker and Michaels actually kills Michaels at Royal Rumble with the casket.
That's right.
Anyway.
And then the rest is history.
Yes.
Well, that was good. That was a really good example of special guest referee, Special guest referee, like you said, furthering the Bret storyline and starting a new storyline, and both of them being red hot in their own way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, Michael's just like, it is that really is so great. Like, he's just like, why did I do that? Like,
yeah.
I don't like this. Like, so many emotions you can read into that.
He realizes pretty much instantaneously how fucked he is.
And who's coming for him now, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is a great, reinforces Taker, and is just how anyone should feel if they hit Taker with a chair. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well, there you go, everybody. There is, and of course, where this ends up is the Montreal Screwjob, which we are not talking about ever again on the show. So
we shall not.
Do not worry about that. We will never be watching along with the Screwjob ever in our lives. So,
yep,
you're free with that. That was a treat, though. That was a very good match, and I love seeing HBK doing his thing. So I'm glad he found his smile again.
In the form of a referee, a cut-off sleeve referee shirt.
Well, if you want to listen to more watch-alongs or any of our other episodes in the past, you can find them all in our archives at awesometruth.libsyn.com. For episodes old and new, you can also subscribe to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are delivered, we are there. Walt, great to watch this match with you. Good choice. Love a good Bret showdown. Always the best to watch.
Yeah, it's a treat.
It's a treat.
It's a real treat.
It's a treat for the fans. It was a treat for us. Thank you all so much for listening. And remember, the truth will set you free.